when we are talking equality and equity, tunaongea hivi. Juzi Western walipewa waiver ya 117 billion ya miwa. Kuleke kwa tuwalete. Tulikuwa sisi tumekula hiyo miwa. Sisi tulikuwa tumekula hiyo miwa. Sasa Mukami amesimama hapa na tunashukuru. Mukami ameng'ang'ana, tumepata bilioni 9. Nikiweka hesabu ya Nyeri peke yake, tulipatia rais 272,507 votes. Tukiweka za Kenya mzima ni milioni ngapi? 3. Hao watu wa Western Uhuru Komen munapelekea 117 billion, waliwapatia kura 1,600. The total Western. Kai madhabu matu adhomeire ko. Can we get what is rightfully for Nyeri? Na hapo tusipembelezane. Hapo tusipembelezane. Kama ni kugawa, tulipiga kura ndio tupate serikali. So ukisema 5 billion tunataka nayo Western tusikie uliwapatia ngapi. Sababu tumeona kuna shift. Kuna ka shift serikali imeanza kuchukua ya kuendaga Western kila siku. Sasa mnaongea, nimesikia DMM anaongea juu ya hii stadium yetu ya Rorengo. Bungoma si mlienda imejengwa? Walikuwa wamepatiana kura ngapi? How many votes are they given? Yetu sasa ni contractor sijui 4 analetwa. Can we be treated like equal citizens of this country? Na tusiambiwe ati tunapelekwa namna hii na ni lazima ieleweke. Those we are speaking are facts. Maudu maria turoiga ni mama na ni maudu maroneka. Nituraiguana. Na no wega gucokera kugo gitio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your greatest support. Now, before we get deeper into this discussion, fellow Kenyans, I have a question to ask. And this is my question. Imagine waking up one morning to see politicians, leaders elected to serve the people, celebrating the death of a man who shaped this country's history. That's just, you know, that kind of celebration is not just about politics. There is a moral decay, and it also shows the kind of the empathy, the death of empathy in leadership. Now, let me ask this: why will the whole politician celebrate Raila Odinga's death, and what does that say about Kenyan's politics? Our history and our soul as a nation? That is the question that I would like you to answer me at the comment section. A quick reminder, fellow Kenyans, that if at all we are meeting for the first time, don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can as well like, you can share, drop me the flag at the comment section, or drop me a comment at the comment section. Tell me where you're watching this video from. If you're within the country, tell me which part of the country you're watching from, and if you're outside the country, you can as well tell me which country, or drop the flag at the comment section. And a humble request, fellow Kenyans, that the burial is this Saturday. We already made. Today is now we are almost at today is Wednesday. Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, only 2 days. Now the body will be mwili tatolewa mortuary on Friday, and you know, I was working on how I can pay the mortuary bill and all that. So I'm just requesting that if you're in a position to support, you can just support me via this number. Your 100 shillings, your 200 shillings, fellow Kenyans, your 1,000, your 2,000, I'll really appreciate. I'm still remaining some bado nimebaki na pesa kidogo na some balance. Sijafika ile target yenye ilikuwa inatakikana. They wanted something like 50,000. I'm still at 35. Bado nimebakisha something like 15,000 ndio kuwe sasa everything will be okay. Nimejaribu sana, and also thank you very much for those who already sent me wenye wanitumia zao. Nashukuru sana, na Mungu azidi kuwabariki kwa huo moyo wa usaidizi. Nashukuru sana, Maulana awe pamoja nanyi kila wakati na awazidishie. If you're willing, if you're in a position and you're also willing, you can just use the number. I really appreciate. I can't mention your name for the privacy purposes. Your privacy matters to me the most. That is why I can't mention your name. Now, as we get back into this discussion, I want us to listen to Mutahi Kahiga. That is the governor of Nyeri County.
Is that shocking video clip of an unprecedented scene where an elected leader appearing to celebrate the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. In the video, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga termed the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as God's plan to give development back to the Mount Kenya region. Governor Kahiga, who spoke in his native Kikuyu language, says the death of Odinga sends everyone back to the drawing board, including the head of state, William Ruto. Kahiga spoke in Kieni constituency, Nyeri County. Here is the video clip and its translation.
Imagine the kind of person this man was. The way he fought for our country, the way he fought for the freedom, the way he fought for this nation, and then somebody is just coming from nowhere and then trying to celebrating after he had died, celebrating his death. You see, sometimes these politicians do things and does things, and you sit down and you wonder what is really going on with these kind of leaders. I want us now to look at why would a politician just decide and celebrate Raila Odinga's death. Number one, we talk about the issue of, I want us to understand something. I want us to understand this thing here. I want us to look at this historical rivalry. Number one, talk about the historical rivalry. And we have to understand something, that going way back in early 1960s, the rivalry between Kikuyu and Luo politicians didn't start with Raila Odinga. It began with Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, two freedom fighters who turned into bitter political enemies. When Jaramogi opposed Kenyatta's leadership, the nation split along tribal lines, and that wound never fully healed. But in as much as the wound never healed, there are a lot of issues here that we really need to ask ourselves. In as much as the wound between Oginga Odinga and Jomo Kenyatta never healed, why would it now affect the people that are living in this generation? Why would it affect us? Why would it affect their children? If it never healed, then why is it that there are a section of people who still wants to make that wound so bado wanataka kufanya ile kidonda kio uchungu sana, yenye mtu akijaribu kufikia karibu anasikia kama hii kidonda ni uchungu sana. Why? It's been decades. Remember, it's been decades since Jaramogi Oginga and Jomo Kenyatta died. It's been decades. And then Raila Odinga inherited his father's legacy, then the eternal opposition, and for many Kikuyu politicians, that meant inheriting our old grudge too. So the moment Raila Odinga came out and inherited his father's opposition, so some section of Kikuyus, I don't want us to look at this thing like we're talking about tribalism. I want us to understand why this issue might be happening. Because it has happened. Only one person is the one that has caused all these problems. Mutahi Kahiga. Mutahi Kahiga is the one that has caused all these problems. That is why now we have to talk about. We now have to dig deep into why. Because as Mutahi Kahiga is doing this, there are a section of people who are also celebrating together with him. So you can't say that he's on this alone. You see, you can't say ya kwamba Mutahi Kahiga anafanya kitu peke yake. Kuna wale watu ambao wanamsaidia, kuna wale watu ambao wako nyuma yake na wanamsaidia. That is why we have to go back way to where this thing started. So when the late Raila Odinga came and inherited his father's opposition leadership, the Kikuyus also saw that, okay, Raila Odinga amekuja, Raila Odinga was Jaramogi Oginga's son, so that grudge must continue. Their roots are continuous. So they continue, they picked the grudge from where the forefathers left it, and it continued. And that is how I think you grudge imekuwa ikiendelea. Number two is about the political pain. In 1990s, from 1990 to 2007, Raila was a symbol of reforms. By early 2000s, he became a symbol of threat to the Kikuyu's political establishment. When the 2005 referendum split the NAC government and Raila broke with Mwai Kibaki, another Kikuyu leader, the political war turned personal. I want us to understand this. Early 1990s, in 1990s, 1992, 1997, around there, Raila was a symbol of reform. And then, when they entered into early 2002, Raila became a symbol of a threat to the Kikuyu political establishment, whereby people are feeling like, okay, now, remember what happened in 2007, 2002, and it forced Raila Odinga to say, Kibaki tosha. Now, in 2005, during the referendum, there was a split in NAC. Now, during the split in NAC, the government, NAC government, Raila Odinga broke with Mwai Kibaki. During their breaking, another Kikuyu leader, remember now, NAC, how did NAC break? Raila Odinga with Mwai Kibaki, I think they were in the same party, and then all of a sudden, wakakuja wakatofautiana kimawazo. Baada ya kutofautiana kimawazo, shida ikaingia. So Kikuyus realized that, okay, Raila can still not be trusted. So this is what is supposed to be done. Now, ile grudge wacha bado iwe. And that is exactly what happened. And they brought it now, it became now personal again. And then now it came to 2007, 2008. The post-election, remember the post-election violence. I think this is now where the majority of people witnessed what happened. The post-election violence whereby there was a war between Kikuyus, Luos. I think that is how it started. Luos, Kikuyus, Mara, haiwezi kafanyika. So the violence really scared Kenyans, and it really made Kenyans, it really installed fear in Kenyans forever. And thousands and thousands of people died. Communities were displaced, and in the midst of some Kikuyus, Raila became associated with the dark, with that time, with the dark time, fairly or not. Now, that crisis also brought a lot of issues between Luos and Kikuyus. Remember, all these things were happening because of Raila. All these things were happening because of the late Raila. Oh, they were blaming the late Raila. Oh, Mara Raila this, Raila that. So anywhere Raila was, they believed that lazima kungekuwa na shida, lazima kungekuwa na kelele, kungekuwa na vita. You see? And then now, this trauma really lingered for years. This trauma lingered for very many years in both Kikuyus and Luos, and it really caused a lot of political exploit. After causing a lot of political exploit, people turned pain into propaganda. So instead of that, now remember, all these things from 1990s to 2007, 2008, after post-election violence, people were left with a lot of trauma. What next? The question, what next? What's supposed to be done? What is going to happen next? So after asking a lot of questions of what next, what's supposed to happen next, what is going to happen next, people were left with the trauma. After the trauma, now, people started healing. Now, in the process of healing, now that pain started going away. After the pain had gone, now what remained was not the pain, was the propaganda. Now the propaganda started spreading, and that is how now all these things came out. The third thing is the issue of tribal mobilization and political fear. Let's talk about this for a few minutes. For many Kikuyu politicians, anti-Raila sentiments became a political tool, a shortcut to mobilize voters, whereby people believed that if they talk about Raila in a negative way, in their area of jurisdiction, it will be possible for them to be elected. But if Raila wins, because they were like, okay, if Raila wins, our community will suffer. They'll spread that. Raila huyu mganga akishinda, mara sisi kama Wakikuyu tutakuwa na shida. Raila akishinda, huyu jamani mganga, huyu jamani mchawi, all those sorts of names. So they brought all that tribalism in even to young kids. Let me ask this question. I believe some people are not Luo, some are not Kikuyus. But when you are growing up, what picture was installed in your mind, was in your mind? Like when you were growing up, how are you told that who are you told Raila Odinga was? Because I've interacted with a lot of people. I've interacted with the different kinds of people in this country, and they are just like, when we were growing up, we were being told Raila, huyu jamaa ni mganga, huyu jamaa anaweza geuka kuwa kama nzi, all sorts of names, that Raila is not a human being. This guy can kill, can just decide and do something in this country that people will regret. So my question is this: if you were told all those things and you believed, so do you still believe that he is the same guy that you were told, or you believe that now he's a human being, he can die? Because suppose he was not a human being, suppose all those things that you were told were true, then Raila Odinga could have not died. So are you seeing the way politicians normally knows how to pray to install political fear in people? Tukipofanya hivi tufanye hivi. And then he says that they were like, if Raila wins, Luos will take revenge on Kikuyus, and that will destroy our businesses. When Luos are in power, our businesses will be destroyed. Of course, you know very well that the majority of people that does business in this country, in this country, are Kikuyus and Somalis. So that fear, you see that fear, that story has been repeated for over 30 years now. For over 30, so much that for some it became most a reflect, like it was like a reflect to hate Raila even without knowing why. So you just find that mtu anazaliwa alafu anachukia Raila. Ukimuuliza kwa nini unachukia Raila, he doesn't know. He or she can't explain why they hate Raila. If they ask, wanasema kwamba mama yangu aliniambia Raila si mtu mzuri, you are like, what is going on? Why? Imagine for over 30 years, people have been hating someone for no good reason. If you ask them, why are you hating this guy? I don't know. But I just feel like he's not the... Right now, hating, you just feel like he's not a good person. So you hate somebody because you have a feeling. You just have a feeling that he's not a good person. You see? So when some of these same politicians celebrate his death, they are not reacting to Raila the man. That is what I believe. So when you see people like Kahiga celebrating Raila Odinga's death, they are not really reacting to Raila the man. They are reacting to the myth, a political enemy they created. That is what I believe. And when I was doing the research, that was what I came to realize. When I was doing the analysis and I was trying to analyze this, I came to understand something with Kahiga. When he's celebrating, when he's talking the way he's talking and other people are celebrating, they're not reacting to Raila's death in real, the man in real, but they're reacting to the myth that was created. That, this man is not a good person. And then the fourth one, we also have to understand what is really wrong with this kind of picture that politicians are portraying. As a politician, we believe so well that people believe in us. Like, you're a politician, people believe in you. But we need to pause first and ask ourselves these questions. Question number one that we need to ask ourselves is this: what's actually wrong here? What is actually wrong here that a politician will go as far as celebrating the death of a fellow politician? What is really wrong? it's you know, according to me, I feel like it's a moral failure. Because when you celebrate the death, you lose your humanity. You show the world that you are driven by the hate, not even vision. And then at the end of the day, you'll come and start asking these people again that, oh, elect me. You really lost your humanity. You are not a human anymore. You're not showing any empathy. You don't have any empathy in you. Another thing is the issue of it also shows the way you are immature in politics. It also shows a political immaturity. Because democracy, what does democracy means? Democracy means disagreeing with respect. You fight with ideas, not with insult, and certainly not with joy at someone's death. So that one, it shows that you are immature in politics. The third one is also it also shows the it deepens the division. Like, for instance, you know, Kenyan's biggest enemy is not Raila or Ruto. I want us to understand, Kenya's biggest enemy is not Raila, is not Ruto, is not Gachagua. But it's the tribal hatred that is there. You know, and every time a leader celebrates at the death, that poison spread. For instance, right now, I just want to ask you a question. How do you think majority of Luos are feeling right now? How do you think that majority of people are feeling after seeing that Kahiga is celebrating the death of Raila Odinga? Leave alone Luos feel the feeling that Luos are feeling. How do you think people are feeling? Because I've really seen a lot of people giving their opinions and really criticizing what Kahiga has done. I think I'll read you that at the end so that you can also know what these people are saying. You know, this one also shows African culture and the curse of mocking the dead. In our African tradition, Kikuyu, Luo, Kamba, Luya, death is scarce. Death is a sacred thing. Even your enemy deserves respect in death. And I said here that death is not something that people need to celebrate. That, oh, sasa mtu amekufa, wacha tusherehekee. No, that is not how things are supposed to happen, fellow Kenyans. Mocking the death is a curse. It invites a shame on your family and it stains your legacy. When a leader dances on someone's grave, they are not showing strength. They are exposing their emptiness. You know, what Kahiga has done, Kahiga has really shown Kenyans who he is. There is also the political backfire. You know, one thing I believe and one thing I know is that this thing has really backfired Kahiga. It may backfire kwake kabisa. Because you can't just wake up in the morning and then you start celebrating. Oh, unaanza kusema kwamba a lot of issues that don't even add up. These politicians really needs to be decent. Even as you are disagreeing with some of the things that are happening, you really need to be decent. Don't say that, oh, sasa Raila amekufa, sasa yule mtu anaenda kukumbuka watu wa Mlima Kenya, alikuwa amewasahau, alikuwa ameconcentrate kwa yule mganga huko. Such kind of things are not even supposed to come from a leader's mouth. You know, a leader is someone that should be decent. Carry yourself with a lot of dignity. Show some respect. Show people that you are ready to sympathize with them during this hard time. Imagine Mama Ida, when Mama Ida seeing such kind of things coming from leaders. It's a shame. A very big shame. And then people will start blaming regarding Gachagua. We can't blame regarding Gachagua on this. This one is not even about regarding Gachagua. This one, people can't blame regarding Gachagua. And I will be against those who want to blame Rigathi Gachagua on this, because they will be saying that, oh, Rigathi Gachagua is a supporter. No, Gachagua hajafanya kitu. Penye Gachagua amefanya makosa, we will say. But pale ambapo Gachagua hayupo, we will also say that this one is not Gachagua's deed. No, it's not Gachagua's deed. In as much as one thing I believe and one thing I know with Gachagua, that in as much as Gachagua is how he is, but Gachagua has got his respect. And in fact, this is what Rigathi Gachagua said after failing to attend Raila Odinga's burial. This is what he said. To the great people of Bondo, I deeply respect the life of and legacy of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. My decision not to attend his burial was not out of disrespect, but out of caution. I received credible intelligence that there were plans by certain political elements to cause tension and disrupt the solemnity of that day by targeting me for humiliation. I did not want my presence to shift attention from honoring Baba's memory to unnecessary drama. From my heart, I mourn with you and the entire nation. Raila'S contribution to Kenyan's democracy is beyond measure, and history will forever remember him as one of the greatest sons of our land. I want to say something here. In as much as people would hate Rigathi Gachagua, in as much as maybe people would say Rigathi Gachagua the way they are seeing him, but I really respected Rigathi Gachagua's decision not to attend Raila Odinga's funeral. I really respected that. Why am I saying that I respected it? Because in Raila Odinga's funeral kulikuwa na watu wengi sana. A lot of Rigathi Gachagua's enemies. Though his opposition leader wengine walikuwa, lakini Rigathi Gachagua made the right decision not to attend. Hiyo nini ingeshift sana. Remember when Gachagua mentioned the issue of mimi sio bacteria, Kalonzo sio virus. That is what could have caused a lot of mayhem and chaos during Raila Odinga's funeral. But it is good that he decided to stay away. And by staying away, he showed how mature he is. Now, fellow Kenyans, I would like you to tell me what you think at the comment section concerning that statement that has come from Kahiga. Mutai Kahiga, she will really find a way of stalling up. After all, guys, that is just my thought, and that is all I have for now. Let me know what you think at the comment section. Please don't forget to tell me where you're watching this video from, and please subscribe. Until we meet again, I have been your host, Bonfasino.